Hey everyone! Today we're jumping into the wild and fascinating world of robotics. And trust me, it's evolving so fast it's reshaping our industries, our economies, and even how we connect with each other. So let's get right into it.
So just take a second. When I say robot, what's the first image that pops into your head? Is it, one of those giant, tireless mechanical arms on a factory floor? Or is it something else? Maybe something that feels more like a character out of a movie? Well, the crazy thing is, both are right. And that's the story we're going to unravel today.
You see, modern robotics is kind of splitting into two very different, almost opposite paths. On one side, you've got the robot as a pure tool. It's cold, it's efficient, and it's built for one thing: productivity. But on the other side, there's this whole new vision popping up: the robot as a companion, warm, enchanting, and designed for empathy. So let's look at each of these faces, starting with the one we probably know best.
All right, first up, the industrial powerhouses. These are the robots that have been the economic engine of automation for decades now.
Our source from NASDAQ really nails it. These robots are all about driving efficiency. I mean, think about it. Car manufacturing, super complex surgeries, managing these gigantic warehouses, these are tasks that demand incredible precision and endurance. And these robots, they're built to deliver, combining hardware and AI to pull off amazing things with very little human help.
So why is this market just exploding right now? Well, it's a few key things coming together. We're seeing these huge technological breakthroughs, especially in AI, that are making robots way smarter and more capable. At the same time, there's a rising demand for automation to help with labor shortages and, the big one, to cut down on operational costs. It's basically the perfect storm for growth.
And you know what happens when there's that much growth, right? The investment follows. This side of the robotics world is a massive financial opportunity. The promise of high growth and insane efficiency means the potential for some serious returns, which of course just fuels even more innovation. This is that classic, powerful, world-changing face of robotics. But now, let's look at the other face that's starting to emerge.
This is where the story gets really, really interesting. There's this new wave of robotics that's moving out of the factory and into our social spaces, into hospitals, schools, and homes. And it has a completely different reason for being there.
I love this quote from the startup Enchanted Tools because it just perfectly captures this huge shift in thinking. The goal isn't just about efficiency anymore. It's about creating a positive, maybe even a magical experience. It's about moving away from intimidating machines and towards something enchanting.
And the poster child for this new philosophy is Mirokaï. This is not a machine built to replace a factory worker. Nope. This is a character that's been brought to life, designed to help people in social settings, especially in places like healthcare.
So how does Mirokaï do it? A few really clever ways. First, the design is inspired by anime, so it feels approachable and makes you feel empathy for it. Its movement is totally new. It's based on a rolling globe, which makes it super agile but also more reliable and energy efficient. And instead of trying to copy a human hand, which is crazy hard, it uses simple, standardized handles to give it a 100% success rate on the tasks it's designed for.
I mean, the entire design philosophy has been flipped on its head. Instead of a big, mechanical, maybe even threatening machine, the creators wanted to make small, animal-like beings. They use warm colors and this interactive face that reacts in real time to build a real, intuitive bond with people.
And here's where you see it make a real difference. In an assisted living home, Mirokaï can be a companion, just helping to ease anxiety. For caregivers who are stretched so thin, it can handle boring, repetitive stuff like delivering small items, which gives them more time for actual human interaction. And for kids in a hospital, it can turn a really stressful moment into a moment of play and comfort. It's all about supporting humans, not replacing them. So we have these two completely different ideas of what a robot can be, but the two stories are connected. And that connection is this: the relentless drive for efficiency from the tool robot is having some profound and often unseen consequences for jobs all over the world. To really get this, we have to look at two key economic forces, which are laid out in research from EconStore. First, there's the displacement effect. This is what we all think of, right? A robot takes a human's job. But then there's also a productivity effect, which means automation can actually make the remaining human jobs more valuable. So the final impact on jobs really depends on which of these two effects is stronger.
So what does the data actually show? Well, this number is a key finding from the research. What it means is that for every 10% increase in automation that an emerging country is exposed to from developed nations, its employment drops by 1.03%. So the big question is, why does automation in one country cause job losses in another one?
This chart tells you pretty much everything you need to know. Just look at the massive gap in robot adoption. By 2014, developed countries had nearly 2 million industrial robots. Meanwhile, emerging economies were just getting started. And this huge imbalance creates a powerful global ripple effect.
So here's what happens. A company in a developed country automates its factory, and it becomes so efficient that it might not need to send work overseas anymore. That's called offshoring. In fact, it might even bring jobs back home, which we call reshoring. So the end result is that those tool robots in one part of the world can directly lead to job losses in another.
So this brings us back to the big picture. We have these two powerful and really different paths for robotics. One is an economic engine that's having these huge global consequences, and the other is a social tool designed for human connection. So, what does the future hold?
Let's just break it down one last time, side by side. The tool robot's goal, efficiency and productivity, and it lives in factories. Its design is all about function. The companion robot's goal, interaction and empathy, and it's made for places like hospitals, with this enchanting social philosophy. Two totally different goals, two totally different worlds.
Look, the big takeaway here isn't that one of these paths is better or worse. The reality is that both are going to continue to grow and they're going to coexist. One is going to keep driving huge economic changes and reshaping global supply chains, and the other is going to start reshaping our social interactions and how we care for one another.
And that leaves us with a really critical question, doesn't it? As we keep developing both of these incredibly powerful technologies, how do we manage the trade-offs? How do we build a future that gets all the productivity from one while embracing the humanity of the other, and, most importantly, making sure that the benefits of all this progress are shared by everyone? That's the challenge ahead of us. Thanks for watching.